Insulate yourself with a few inner circle people who love you enough that you can be vulnerable in front of, and yet are honest enough. My daughter, let me tell my story. My daughter Sarah wrote this paper. Yeah, I know. She wrote this paper one time, and she sent it to me, and I was.
There was a day where what just happened was something so far away, too. You talk about it in the book.
I talk about it in the book. I mean, she was the least likely child. Lord have mercy. If you would have asked me, which one, I would have known. Anyway, I talk about it in the book. You got to read the book. She wrote a paper and she sent it to me. And the thing about me is, my wife says I'm brutally honest. I say I'm just honest. She has to add verse to it, but she says I'm brutally honest. I will tell you the truth. She wrote this paper. My daughter wrote this paper. She sent it to me, and I read it. And I remember I was in LA at the time that I read it. I was busy. I probably would have been more tactful had I not been so busy, but I was busy. And I read through it, and I said, Sarah, I said, I don't even know what you're talking about. I said, I know you can write better than this. You need to go back and write this over again. And she said, okay. She said, Dad, I'll give it another spin. I realize now in retrospect that I probably should have softened it a bit. Later on, she wrote her first book. And I sat down to read the book. And I'll be honest, I sat down to read the book because she's my daughter and she wrote it and I was going to read it. And it's the way they used to cook. And some stuff they cooked, their mother wouldn't eat. I would eat anything they cooked, just so they have confidence in themselves. So I said, I'm going to read this book. And I started reading it. And I called her and I said, Sarah, I sat down to read the book because you wrote it, and I couldn't put it down. Wow. I said, I read from the first page to the last page, and I didn't stop. Because the rhythm of your writing, the eloquence of your speech, the visual images that are created through the opulence of your vocabulary was so overwhelming that I was mesmerized. And I left her that message and she called me back. She said, Daddy. She said, Daddy, she said, I want to keep this voice message forever. She said, I want to keep it the rest of my life. And I said, Sarah, it was just what I thought. She said, I know. She said, that's what made it real. She said, I could trust your compliments because of your criticism. You need somebody who's not just going to say it because they like you or say it because they love you. You want to get the absolute truth from them. An inner circle of people who will tell you like it T.I. is.